So our job, I'm Bill Kenny, and we have Mario, the CEO of Tespack, and Yousef, who's helped Mario raise a great round of funding. And so what we want to do is sort of talk about this a little bit, but maybe to start, so you were in this, Mario won Startup Turkey, which is in Antalya in February, and it was this past February. And just a few minutes ago, he was saying, yeah, it was last year, and I had to remind him, no, it was this year. It was just, about 6 months ago that this all happened. So your life sort of accelerated a bit since then, has it?
Yeah, well, it's right now very wild, right? Pretty much we're in the process of production for the products that we developed actually.
Yep.
So it's quite crazy what's happening right now. Everything's going faster pace.
We have 15 ventures that are in the audience, and they're all they want is to hear what the judges have to say, right? So what did that feel like? Go back to that sort of moment 6 months ago when you were sort of waiting to hear what happened. Are there butterflies in your stomach? What are you sort of thinking about?
Well, honestly, I felt quite nervous.
Yeah.
Because the things like we have been working with our team a lot to make the presentation,
yep.
studying pretty much every single judge that was going to be during the event.
Yep.
Pretty much trying to see the type of people they were, and also understanding how we're going to put the message out. Because wearables, it's something that is new.
Sure.
So we wanted to just fix the message.
Sure. So let's talk about Tespack, because the audience doesn't know much about your company, and so just take us through what Tespack is, what you provide, who your customers are, that type of thing.
Okay, so we're a company that specializes in mobile energy generation. We create products that focus on the future of energy, which is mobile energy generation. But from a different perspective, we don't believe that only carrying batteries is the solution, but to generate energy on the move. So there are different ways of creating energy: kinetics, heat, wind, and solar. And we started with solar.
Yeah. And so what types of products then, how has that manifested itself in terms of the products you create?
Yeah, so we started with solar smart packs,
yeah.
Solar backpacks, but as we started seeing the need for products, actually we started seeing that people in the military need our solutions. Mm-hmm. So once we presented the beginning of our vision to our investors, together with Yousef, Assad, and the team, we started looking into other opportunities where our technology could be used. So based on that, actually, in our concept, which is create, store, and charge, we thought that we could implement the same concept in other products. Mm. So we have created tailored army solutions such as PAX, which is one of the first satellite internet encrypted solutions that we have created for a couple of armies now. Same concept from the backpack, but we developed it a little bit further. And then what we have done is to implement a little bit better technology in Indy, which is an attachment bag. Yeah. And we call it the first mobile solar plant, which means that if you have a unit of 10 soldiers, and the 10 soldiers have 10 backpacks, you can put all of the 10 backpacks together, and then you have a mini solar plant, and you don't need to have a structure. So that's something that they really loved in the military. And thanks to the investment that we have received from World Ventures, we're in the process of implementing IoT in our technology, such as, for example, the first smart IoT helmet that's right now has got a lot of interest from the military and the DoD, Department of Defense, United States, and also the Middle East. We have started producing also wireless chargers for military phones. That right now this is in production and being used by some armies in Scandinavia. So as you can see, our technology has evolved more than, we started with solar backpacks, but we have evolved the company into a technology company.
Mm-hmm. So you've gone from sort of a product to a full company with a suite of products. So what percentage of your business right now is military versus sort of commercial?
Well, at the moment, our B2G, it's pretty much 80-20, but yeah. We have spoken with our investors and with our advisors, and we are going to change that. We want to shift that to 60-40, so for the future to B2C. So we're trying to change that.
So in a moment, I'd like to sort of talk more about the future, but maybe if we shift for a moment to talk about sort of the investment. And so, Yousef, what made Tespack particularly interesting for you as an investor and to sort of create a deal to be able to give them some funding?
Well, I mean, the thinking that I had, I mean, first, it was a great opportunity to be in startup Turkey. So it was just an opportunity to listen across an interesting period of time to someone repeating the case time and time again and understand what is it that he wants to do and what does he want to achieve specifically. What drove my thinking specifically was on creating a MENA impact. So we've always spoken about how can we, as investors from the MENA market, invest outside of MENA. And the challenge always in that was that if we went out and did so, I mean, there were a Finnish company registered out of Holland, operating out of Valencia. So it was a quite interesting array of things. And I think to get there, it started with just talking across a coffee and a table in Antalya. So the MENA impact component was the one that really drove the initial thinking. Is a simple question: does this have a MENA application? And the second consideration was, okay, well, if it's not about just applying this in MENA, could we potentially change the growth curve so that the growth of Tespack without a MENA impact would be, let's say, 3x or 4x, but with a MENA impact, it could potentially be, let's say, 6x or 7x. And I think that's really the interesting discussion that then I was internalizing that discussion with people. I would have a talk with them a little bit, but then go and talk with others across the table from over the phone, bounce the idea with Asad and other people that I was working with on this, and then come and listen to all the feedback. And yes, we came to a conclusion. This has and it fits the bells and whistles that we were looking for. So we then stepped in and wanted to do something else, which was okay. Now we need to know each other. So that then triggered the process of having that discussion, which resulted in us investing 2 million euros in the business.
Fantastic. And so, Mario, going through I'm sure you learned a lot in going through this sort of fundraising process. Are there some takeaways that you want to sort of make sure that folks that are sort of behind you in that process, but could learn from your experience? Anything that you'd share? Yeah,
actually, something I've learned during this fundraising process is that actually startups, we need to have a little bit of runway when we're going to do that, because the due diligence and the paperwork takes time. So from the moment Yousef and Asad said yes, it has taken some time until we saw the money. So we needed to be able to survive during that time. So sometimes I would advise to my peers and my friends that are entrepreneurs to always have a good runway, a good 6 to 7 months runway, just in case. Other thing is do not approach an investor if you're not ready. Do not approach them if you don't have a business plan. You don't know your team. You don't know how many people you're going to hire, what's going to be your turnover for the first year after the investment hits the bank account, or the product roadmap, or how many people you need. If you're not sure about that stuff, you're just compromising opportunities when you contact an investor. So we had all that ready.
I'd like to add, I mean, what many of you in this room, including myself, when I was sitting basically listening to a set of slides, I think that's the point, that you have to be ready when the investors knock on your door. Nothing, this is just a claim. Everything that basically is on the slides is a claim. And what was really exciting about working with Mario and his team is that, going through the journey of validating that claim. So flying and meeting the team and making meeting the technical mastery and the tech guys that were within the organization itself who were working on the technology. Getting to meet someone who works on designing and has worked on designing, and he has a lot of gray hair, batteries for Nokia. So, and a lot of the patents that we've used across the last 15, 20 years have been created by this one gentleman. So getting to meet the people, getting to meet the organization, flying over to Valencia, spending time with them, that's what you need to always consider. That once you get the interest of a investor, if you fail dramatically in the credibility side, now if you basically do your part and he doesn't want to invest, or she doesn't want to invest, or the VC doesn't want to invest, that's okay, right? But if it turns out that you were overselling yourself, and it turns out that you're very short on all the promises that you said you were basically claiming you had in place, you're going to have the worst the worst enemy possible, which is your credibility is tainted. Someone's going to go out there and say, don't ever talk to this guy again. I mean, this guy just basically pulled your leg, wasted my time, and turns out that he doesn't have anything behind these slides. So I think it's very important that before you talk to investors, you really have everything buttoned up, and then the journey takes its place, and it ends up in being very patient, and having a runway is very important. If he didn't panic, and that means that he basically had some leg room to keep going and keeping the discussion going forward, and it gave us confidence also that the team knew how to manage their business forward. So it's a lot of introductions back and forth. We're trying to know each other. He wants to know me, and I want to know him, and we need to know the whole team basically. So it's a very exciting experience, but it's a commitment from both parties.
I remember a mentor I had many years ago had a great saying in this regard. He said, "Always look for money when you don't need it." Right? Yeah. So if you're at the end of your runway, it's a really bad time to look for money.
I completely agree with it. The thing is, like, we were prepared, because actually that's something that we were talking with the guys, like, as a startup, we were not playing to make business. Yeah. We are doing business, and that's something that we have tried to do from the beginning as a company, as a startup, is to have everything ready before we approached. And when I actually spoke with Yousef after the event, he was just coming out from the lift. He said, like, okay, you have something interesting, let's talk. So then I started bombarding him with emails after he left.
And being ready is very important. I mean, literally, he was ready. And I really appreciate that, because whenever I would ask for information, it was available. If I asked for a forecast for a couple of years, it was available. If I asked for the breakdown of data, financially, it was available. If I asked for the branding and strategy thinking that they had of how they wanted to brand this product, taking it forward, I was concerned of what you just saw, basically, like anybody else would be, and I wanted to see more of the e-commerce side and the retail side. And then they said, well, we haven't forgotten that, and they showed me that, we've signed with a Victoria's Secret model, and she's basically out there promoting our product to the user base that they wanted to get out and use the product more. We've spoken to people that live in the jungles and basically, adventure type of extreme sport individuals that need this type of product. So it was interesting. There was always something that they've done in the space that I was interested in finding more about. And it created confidence. I mean, it's not the answers, not everything was answered, but at least that the thinking process was there, and the team was well structured around answering those points. So from the moment that I said, okay, you know what, how about we sign a letter of intent? He sent me a draft in 24 hours. He didn't basically wait until I don't know when to basically come and have a discussion and take this forward. And that builds credibility. So if you have an opportunity to meet with an investor, take it seriously and build with the individual, but predominantly always be ready to answer the questions and be buttoned up, because it's really a bad experience that, for someone to find out that you were pulling their leg and you were just more or less, it's really bad when you're lying, but more or less that you were not as sincere in the presentation and the slides that you were giving.
Yeah. So Mario, maybe if we spend a couple of minutes sort of talking about the future for Tespack, sort of what do you see in terms of, you said going more to a sort of 60-40, but can you give us a sense of what products will be created on the consumer side?
Sure. So we are in the process of going into production with the helmet. So the helmet initially was created for outdoors use, for people that use, action cameras, skiing, all that stuff, because there's a lot of accidents happening, because no helmet is designed in order to use anything attached to it, so it compromises the structure. So this is the first helmet in the world designed to use action cameras, and it can extend the battery life up to 12 hours. Wow. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to come up with it in December. We're going to be launching it at the General Electric building in Finland. But we have at this very moment in our in-house R&D in Valencia, we are developing probably around 6 to 7 different backpacks for different applications. And I just came back a week and a half ago from Tampa, Florida, from the DITEC, which is the Ministry of Defense exhibition. So everybody went crazy about the helmet, and they say that this is something that they have not seen, and that usually people that come to this event, they come only with PowerPoint, so we came with a product. Mm-hmm. So they liked it, and they want to engage. So based on everything that we have seen and we have worked on, we're going to be focusing on the helmet, and also on launching other products that we believe is going to be for the consumer sector.
Oh, that's super. That's really cool. And so after the helmet, what else do you see going in terms of the B2C?
These helmets, it's the first helmet that we're going to release with IoT and connectivity. So the future of energy for us means that you need to be able to track, you need to be able to track all the generation usage, and also make it intelligent. So we believe in something that's called smart energy. So we want to be able to create an application that's going to be together with this helmet, and it can tell you when you're going to run out of energy, and it's synced together with your calendar, for example. We want to make a platform where people is able to see geolocations where they can charge fast, because this battery that we have created, it can charge in minutes. So rather than waiting 2 hours, sorry.
No, I'd just like to add, I mean, one of the things, I mean, I'm not technical, so one of the, if you could highlight, you know, this is a lot of tech. He's talking about technology and whatever, and it helped me a lot that he was validated by the R&D Institute of Finland. So they had got a lot of grants, R&D grants, to develop this product, and not only once, but it was a gradual developmental process. So every time they were moving from phase A to B, they would be capable of convincing the R&D, the scientists, let's say, sitting in Finland, to come out and help them further and further grow the product, develop the product, and every time that win happens, it creates confidence with an investor.
I just actually saw the white smoke from the room over here, so we actually have results. So if you want to maybe take 30 seconds and sort of answer that, but we're gonna segue to actually finding out the results here. So.
Yep, sure. I just wanted to take this time. I was playing with the company. I just want to say thank you very much to everyone, to Yousef, to Assad, to Burak, to Startup Turkey, because the only thing that my company needed was a fighting chance. We were not asking for charity, not alone. We just wanted a team of people that would believe in us. And he knows that we're working extremely hard. I work pretty much sometimes 17 hours a day because I'm between countries. And I just want to say that as an entrepreneur, I want to tell to all my friends here that let's focus less on PowerPoints, but more on delivering products, because that's pretty much what's going to help us out to grow and make business. This 2 million, I believe, that's going to help me to realize the production that we need for my company. But my end game is not to need any more investment. That's actually the vision that we have as a company. Other than that, I want to say congratulations to all the 15. And I'm quite sure that this event is gonna change your life like it did with me and my team.
And just a reminder, I mean, he's from Latin America. I mean, this place brought somebody from Latin America. Karita is from Finland. You know, the team is from all over the place, right? And
yes.
It's quite interesting to see the diversity that you have. Yeah.
Now we have Pakistanis, actually. And soon probably we'll have people from Yemen, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, hopefully.
Cool. Well, thank you all for your time. We're going to turn it back, but thank you, Mario. Thank you, Yousef.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you.